I'm going to tell you a story. This is the story of Tommy Rocks. Tommy jumped. He jumped alone. He jumped on rocks. He jumped on stones. In the distance he could see, beyond the grass, there was a tree. He quickly ran. He ran so fast he couldn't breathe, but then it passed. When he looked up, then he saw not one tall tree, but 10 in all. I will climb them, Tommy said, and I used some rope from that old shed. Inside the shed, it was dark, but Tommy could clearly see not just rope, but wooden nails to build a house up in a tree. He climbed a tree to find the spot where it would be. He climbed and climbed up to the top, and then looked down to see. He thought about the treetops high up in the air. He thought about the butterflies that fly without a care. He had a happy feeling as the wind blew through his hair, and with it came a vision of a dream that he would share. So down he went to make a plan that would be great. He thought and thought and thought and thought till it got very late. I'll work on it tomorrow, tired Tommy said. Then he went home and ate his dinner, brushed his teeth, and went to bed. Early the next morning, at the very crack of dawn, the sun caught Tommy snoring, woke him up and made him yawn. Tommy stretched and felt good, but he was hungry and he smelled food, so up he jumped onto his feet. He showered, dressed and grabbed his seat. He liked bacon and he liked eggs, but pancakes were a treat. His daddy always made them best of all that he could eat. But what was Tommy's plan, you say? What will it finally be? Just listen to the story, sometimes ears can help you see. Tommy finished all his food, then washed his hands and face. He moved so fast his mommy thought that he was in a race. Tommy said, "Goodbye, Mommy, I'm going out to play." Then he tugged both of his old sneakers the way Dad showed him yesterday. He kissed his mommy on the cheek and waved goodbye to Dad. Then off he went to work on that great big plan he had. Tommy jumped on rocks and stones just like before he jumped alone. On his way he saw some ants digging in the dirt. Tommy got real close to watch them and he got one on his shirt. He brushed it off real gently and he watched them move around. He watched them help each other building castles in the ground. He saw that little ants were strong, these tiny little dots, not one alone, but all together, moving all the rocks. It was then that Tommy knew he'd need help with his plan, so back he went from rock to stone, but this time Tommy ran. Tommy said, "I'll get my friends to help me if they can. If we all work together, it will be a better plan." He ran through open meadows, passing flowers and some deer, shouting, "Is anybody out there? Isn't anybody here?" Then Tommy remembered the zoo in the park, as today is the day they would feature a shark. That's where they must be, of course, Tommy said, and then he stopped running, and he walked there instead. He went through a gate marked "Admission is free," and he asked an old man where the new shark would be. The old man said, "Go down this stone path till it ends." Tommy went on to find more than 100 friends. They watched the scary shark as Tommy told them all his plan. Then the shark showed his big shark teeth, and all the children ran. Of course they followed Tommy, since his plan was very good. Back over rocks and stones and grass, back to his trees and wood. "This is it, this is the spot I told you," Tommy said, "and everything we'll need to use is right inside that shed." One by one they entered, then emerged with both hands full. They found nuts and bolts and screwdrivers, hammers and a drill. They found rope and glue and ladders. They found pipes and parts of fences. They found pulleys and a saw they used to saw on rotten branches. They found all the wood they would ever need, plus other useful things, like nets and knobs and chains and boxes, shovels, and some springs. "What should we do?" the children asked, so Tommy gave directions. He told each one just what to do, and they answered all their questions. Into the trees the children went to escape the bright hot sun, and there in the shade the children played, turning hard work into fun. Up the trees, down the trees they all went, being careful not to fall. The brave ones helped the scared ones, and the tall ones helped the small. As minutes turned to hours, they all finished one by one. Then they all shook hands with Tommy, because Tommy's plan was done, and it was the best thing that they ever saw. They just stood with mouths open, just staring at, or they built a giant castle on the top of the tall trees, high above the rocks and stones, amongst the birds and bees. Then they made a throne and crown from rocks and stones and blue. They presented them to Tommy, saying, "We made these for you." This castle was their kingdom, and they made Tommy king. Now everyone was happy, so they all began to sing. Word soon spread about this place, and a writer wrote a story. It attracted crowds of people and brought Tommy fame and glory. And Tommy thought about little ants as he sat down on his throne. He was glad he spent some time with them, not the shark who swims alone. Soon everyone knew Tommy, all the people near and far. The children all were heroes, but Tommy was the star. Things went great for Tommy, in spite of all the rocks. There were no accidents, no arguments, no barriers with locks. You see, anything can happen in a place with no hard knocks. Someday you'll find a place just like the land of Tommy Rocks. And bless us all who would rehearse these 1,000 some odd words in verse.